Namaskar and welcome to Sunset Television. I am Vishal Dahiya and you're watching our show Perspective, where we bring you detailed analysis of key national and international issues. Today we're going to talk about the 5G spectrum allocation. Now, the government has issued spectrum allocation letters to telecom service providers while asking them to prepare for the rollout of 5G services. The auction of spectrum in various bands was held from 26th of July to 1st of August this year. 72,098 megahertz of spectrum was put to auction, out of which 71%, that is 51,236 megahertz, has been sold with a bid amounting to 1,50,173 crore rupees. Now, with this spectrum allotment, India is in the final stage of rolling out the high-speed 5G telecom services. Now, 5G technology's main benefits are high speed, low latency, high connection density and greater reliability as well. 5G services have the potential to create new age businesses, generate additional revenue for enterprises and provide employment arising from the deployment of innovative technologies. Today, we will discuss and analyze the process of 5G spectrum allocation and the road ahead for 5G technology in India. And for more on this, we're joined by a distinguished panel of experts. Let me first introduce them to you. Beginning with, we have with us Mr. Vimal Vaklu is joining us, former chairman and MD of TCIL is with us. Mr. Sandeep Agarwal is also with us. He's the chairman of the Telecom Committee of PhD Chambers and senior journalist and consulting editor of the Business Standard, Shubhmoy Bhattacharjee, is also with us. Welcome, all of you gentlemen, to Sunset Television. Let me begin with you, Shubhmoy, and let's first start by, doing a recap of the entire process of 5G spectrum allocation. A lot has been said, a lot has been discussed about it. The process has now come to an end. Letters have been issued. How did the entire process go?
Well, you know what? First of all, it's a it's been very commendable step by the government that that the 5G allocation has happened. The numbers, as you put out, they are very impressive, and that's exactly what we were looking for. That what that the G will be doing. The government's data that's already there. Now, the point is, to what extent does it incentivize the companies to want to do it? Well, obviously, they've spent a lot of money, and that would mean that they would want to roll it out fast. At the same time, the point is, the challenge is that there are two things. One is the low level of fiberization at present. That would mean that you would have to, spend on capex in creating those fibers, basically those lines which go across cities and within cities, and that would be costing anywhere between about 1.5 to 2.5 trillion rupees.
Okay.
So that's one of the important expenditure that will happen. The other thing is how well are the enterprises ready? Because manufacturing is sort of saying that yes, we are ready, but we are looking at 5G application in not just in manufacturing. It'll be in healthcare, it'll be in agriculture, it'll be in media, it'll be in education. There'll be so many other sectors, and in those sectors, the ability of the enterprises to be able to soak in 5G will take time. But that doesn't mean that the 5G hasn't happened at the right time. It has happened just at the right time. And one of the important things is that this would also mean that, as we can see from the auction models that the companies have adopted, that they have varying patterns of what they think they will do with trying to roll out 5G. So one of the first things that will happen is that 5G will be premium services.
Okay.
Which would mean that 4G, instead of 4G, the 5G services will be costing somewhat more, which is fair enough. Because if we want quality services to come in, this has to be priced high. Remember, across the world, 5G is just starting out.
Okay.
And in all of the countries, South Korea, USA, the same issues are coming up. So India is in a sort of a sweet spot in terms of starting out 5G.
Okay.
Yes, Vishal.
Okay. We'll go into the further details of how will 5G rollout help in various aspects as well. But first, let me bring in Mr. Sandeep Agarwal here. Mr. Agarwal, what has been the industry's experience when, we're specifically looking at the allocation process here, the spectrum allocation which happened throughout these weeks? How was the industry's, way of looking at things, which were the way they were held? Mr. Agarwal, you'll have to unmute yourself.
So sorry for that. So industry was quite happy that the way these auctions were handled, because they were very fair and transparent, and none of the operators who were part of the auction had any objections to anything. The best thing was that a lot of spectrum was available. So therefore, the need was not there to go in for heavy bidding and beyond the pricing. The only issue the industry had somewhat was that they wanted the base prices to be much lower, because obviously most of the spectrum would have been sold and has been sold at the base prices only, and that would have led the prices of the 5G services which will be provided to be slightly lower. That being said, I think today everybody is happy that the auctions have been made, and the harmonization of the spectrum, which is very important, has also happened. Because then after the auction, when the harmonization happened, if somebody objects, one of the operators object, then it will be a problem, which has not happened in this case. So we believe that everything has happened in the correct way, and this is going to result in fast rollout and trouble-free 5G rollout by operators in future.
Okay.
So industry, I would say, is quite happy with what the situation is today.
Okay.
Yes, we need it to be less costly. From the industry point of view, we have been continuously saying that probably initially for the first 2-3 years, government may have even given the spectrum for free or for a very small price, fixed price, so that more use cases would have come out. And there was a dispute between the telcos and the techos on this, what should be, how it should be allocated. That government has come out with a solution that they have kept an option open for the techos to be given out spectrum even beyond this auction. And then government is coming out with more auction, because there is enough spectrum available.
Okay.
It is something which is available in abundance. It is only that government keeps a tight rein on it, so that we are able to get some funding for the schemes of our government. But that being said, the availability of spectrum is not an issue.
Okay. Let me bring in Mr. Vimal Vaklu here as well. Mr. Vaklu, the industry seems pretty satisfied with the way the process has gone. Now, let's try and understand, what does 5G brings to the table, in not only in terms of technology, but utilization of that technology as well?
Well, Vishal, we all know already how much of a transformation the 4G services have brought into the country. Now, going ahead with 5G with low latencies, there is a possibility of a major change in the education sector, for example. I mean, use of technologies like emerging technology, all the emerging technologies there, like you can say AR, VR, is going to be the norm in education, and this will be enabled with 5G services. Same thing about health. Health is going to undergo a total transformation. The digital health services are going to become a reality, and it's going to be a major change. Besides that, in the other sectors also, like smart cities, this is going to play a major role. Financial inclusion, disaster management, security, and we have seen recently, even the pandemics, the telecom has played a major role, and this is going to be enhanced in a number of ways. Now, when it comes to the, like I mentioned about financial inclusion, we have seen what a role for example, Paytm has played in the country. It has been a major game changer for even the small, you can say, vendors, vegetable vendors, dhobis and other people. They've all made use of it. Nowadays, nobody takes cash. This has helped in digital transformation, and this is going to be further enabled with the help of this particular sector.
Okay.
And of course, there'll be changes at the enterprise level. For example, Industry 4.0 is going to be majorly affected by this. There'll be an automation there, which was not possible without 5G. That's going to happen in a big way. So it's going to help in automation also in a big way.
Okay.
So I see there is a lot of possibility when it comes to the 5G sector. I'm not talking right now about the major applications of 5G like autonomous cars or robotic surgeries, which will be enabled by this. But even the existing ones are going to be quite enhanced in those terms.
Okay. Okay. Indeed, those are the future technologies or future use of 5G and perhaps better technologies than 5G later on, maybe over the years, which can be utilized for our benefit as well. Shubhmoy, you're earlier referring to the economic aspect of it as well. But when we're talking about sector by sector, as Mr. Vimal was also pointing out, where do you think we will start looking at or start feeling the impact of the 5G services rollout of the 5G technology?
Well, the first one, Vishal, will be the manufacturing. I mean, that is the set of enterprises which are seem the most ready right now. Then gradually we'll be seeing the more, the infrastructure-related services, where you'll be seeing the impact coming through. There'll be lots of, it'll be something that would be looking, 5G is not something that just sort of happens on one day. It's a gradual process because the handsets have to be got ready, the companies have to get ready. So there'll be all of those sort of stuff that will start happening, and depends on who sees opportunities to do it on. I want to bring you on to particularly three things that the government has done, which has actually helped in the 5G. One is that the production-linked incentive schemes for the telecom and 5G equipments, but that is a very significant development, which has also happened simultaneously, and we must read it along with the 5G. Because what it has done is that it is gradually reducing the reliance on imports. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there will still be large sectors, large segments where you'll be needing like base transceiver stations and others, where you'll be needing imports. But the fact that the PLI has been started a couple of years earlier and has started moving in terms of producing the equipments necessary is a very important development to be read along with 5G. So that's one part of it.
Okay.
Secondly, the policy decision on relaxation of the spectrum usage charges on revenue, that which the government has relaxed, as well as the fact that the companies now have the option to pay the dues in 20 installments. So the lower upfront payment means that the auction mandate, which says that at least in one city, by the end of next fiscal, the government has to, the companies have to ensure that they roll out 5G, will be possible. So which means even with the current level of investments, the companies can start looking at offerings, and obviously the first set of offerings will be in the metros. In one of the metros or the others, the three major companies will be starting to provide services.
Okay.
That itself will be a demonstration effect.
Okay.
Because that would start giving as I said, demonstration effect. And then, of course, the full benefit of cost savings will start coming in from the next, by end of 2024, where we expect companies to be able to provide services as well as for companies to take the services.
Okay.
Sectors where there'll be lots of possibilities will start coming in. It's a costly technology.
Indeed.
It's a technology which needs which has got immense potential. But at the same time, this is the technology which is very necessary, the key technology necessary for countries in their manufacturing, in their industrial revolution.
Okay.
So therefore, how it pans out, and as of now, what we can see is that the steps are all fairly synchronous,
Okay.
and that is something remarkable about this particular rollout of the telecom investment, which makes us very hopeful.
The entire process you're pointing out, Shubhmoy. Yes, indeed, there, Mr. Agarwal. From the industry's point of view, and as Shubhmoy was also referring to, of course, it is a costly technology, and we've also looked at the amount which is being paid by the TSPs for acquiring this spectrum, which has now been allocated to them in this entire spectrum allocation process. The point is, how do you see the industry taking advantage of that? That's one. And for the end user, the consumer as well.
Okay. So, see, what is going to happen with this spectrum auction is that since the industry has spent 1.5 lakh crores and another 50,000 crores will come from BSNL also, they will also be given spectrum. Anyway, spectrum does not say 4G or 5G. So the spectrum will be used for 4G services also, enhancing the 4G current services also. And to have India ready everywhere for 4G and 5G, we need to invest at least $100 billion more, about 8 lakh crores more investment will be needed, which is a huge opportunity. As Shubhmoy rightly said, that it is, the industry will also get benefits out of this. Industry is going to spend 8 lakh crores. Industry is going to get business of 8 lakh crores. So we are, the Indian industry, we will be putting in at least 2.5 billion fiber kilometers more under the ground to ensure that we have a tower every 30 meters and every tower is connected to optical fiber. Because if that is not so, then there is no 5G. So therefore, a lot of investment is going to come into this. Every single person is going to benefit. I may add this, that for consumers and for general public as such, it becomes very important. Government is also looking into it to go into the dig once policy. So wherever it is being dug, one pipe should be put in. All the operators should be able to put in their cables through that pipe. Otherwise, 4 operators, 4 sets of digging, apart from gas and other pipelines, which is going to be a huge issue. Another thing for consumers is, with this coming of 4G and 5G, it is very important that we have we make a policy of making this broadband, declaring it into a utility.
Okay.
Because now it is going to be something like having power connection and as water connection and sewerage connection. So if that is not there, you can't just think of it not being there.
Okay.
So we have to declare this into a utility. The consumers, yes, will be using 4G for now, and these auctions are really going to make that quality of that service better. And in future, city by city, we are going to get into the 5G network mode. And as we do that, the consumers are going to see a transformation, because drones will be run on these 5G networks. Self-driving cars are going to come. It will take time. Remote operations are going to happen. Doctors will be operating through 5G.
Okay.
So even remote, yes, there would be robotic things also, but probably that is again going to take time. But senior doctors could be actually, helping their juniors operating in small towns, doing surgeries. All the industry has 4.0, as Vimal Bakluji rightly said, that we are going to use this as 5G as a consumer, but more of this 5G will be for industrial consumers.
Okay.
Service sector. We are, all this industry and service sectors are going to use 5G more. And an individual will be getting better 4G services out of this.
Okay.
So they work together. They cannot be separated.
Indeed. Indeed.
And I believe the industry is going to bring in so much services that in 10 years' time, probably, or 7, 8 years' time, the individual consumers like you and me will be using these 5G services for our day-to-day work.
Okay.
And it will be as what we are using the services today.
Okay.
Even
Okay.
our interviews today, we feel the jitter. With this 5G, we will be feeling, everybody will be feeling that we are sitting in your sunset television room
Okay.
and discussing, and there is no delay in my talk and you are receiving it. So these things are going to happen.
That'll
This will be costly,
indeed
but
a wonderful
it will
experience, Mr. Agarwal. You gave the right example there, and perhaps it'll be a wonderful experience for our viewers as well to have seamless connectivity and hear and understand, listen to and understand your views and the views of other experts as well. Now, Mr. Waklu, final comment from you, as both the other panelists are also pointing out. The immediate focus is on industry, manufacturing, services as well. And of course, for the end user, for the consumer like you and me, it would be a sort of a boost in the 4G services. And then down the road, an experience, first-hand experience at the 5G services as well. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. But I would like to mention here that when we talk about the industry, we are also talking here about artificial intelligence, which means, machine learning as well as extended reality, blockchain, Internet of Things, big data analytics, e-networks, digital twins, 3D printing, drones. Now, these are not going to affect us in the long run, but in the short run. Every aspect of these technologies are going to have a big impact. Like I mentioned in the beginning, education sector will see a major transformation. I keep saying this, that in my young days as an engineering student, it was difficult to understand some of the concepts like klystron and all that. It was later when I worked in the satellite technology on the ground that I really understood it. But now with all these technologies, it will be easy for the students to learn all these technologies. It will be a big enabler. It will have applications even in agriculture. And we have already started working on precision agriculture, on, of course, manufacturing, I've already mentioned. In smart cities, it's going to be a big game changer in terms of air quality management, water management, traffic management, mobility. It's not in the distant future. These are going to affect us soon. And even in the energy sector, for example, smart meters, they are already in use and they'll become still smarter, faster. And, peak power pricing in energy sector will ensure that, there is no need of these generator sets during shortage of powers. The critical sector and those who are interested can make use of it.
Okay.
So there are big things like security, for example, is going to be enhanced in a big way. Governance, we have seen fast tags being made compulsory, but there are still little glitches. That is because of the connectivity issues. Now with 5G services, it's going to become a seamless thing. There will be no need of any stoppage near all these toll booths, for example.
Okay.
And I have mentioned about financial inclusion. Now there is no need for even the rural area people to sort of come to towns for various transactions. They can get money sitting there despite there being no banks. It is through postal ICT terminals, which are already in use, but they'll get enhanced in a big way. And of course, even the medical sector for the rural areas, because ultimately 1 billion people live, even telemedicine for the rural areas will be enabled in a very, very positive manner. And I'm sure the dream of our former president, Dr. Abdul Kalam, of having a program like Pura, providing urban amenities in rural areas so that we don't unnecessarily clutter the cities like Mumbai. We have Dharavi, one of the biggest slums. That all can be prevented if we provide facilities to all the youth
Okay.
in the rural areas, which we have in the urban areas.
Indeed.
I'm sure with all these things, India is going to get transformed because we are a young nation.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
see a lot of scope for future because of these 5G services.
Indeed, there is a lot of scope, and those are the significant benefits for the individual consumer, for the common man or the citizen of the country, apart from, of course, the big gains which can be made in the industry and services sector there as well. Thank you so much, Mr. Vimal, Mr. Agarwal, as well as Shubhmoy, for sharing your views and insights. As our experts were pointing out, all about the 5G spectrum allocation and the road ahead with 5G technology. It is going to be a game changer, not only in terms of what it brings on the table in the industry sector, specifically manufacturing and services, but also individual services to the common man of the country. We'll keep a close tab on all the developments here and other topics also. Till then, keep watching Sunset Television.